Alicia. Hi everyone, I'm really excited to introduce this next team we have speaking to us. And it's going to be followed by a panel session. We're going to talk about industry engagement and experiential learning. But this is going to be a one-of-a-kind session right now. We're going to spend about 10 minutes and hear from two university seniors, college seniors in engineering. I showed up 5 years ago at Dassault Systems. I joined the company in 2010 as the managing director of North America. And I found a line item in our budget for this little college I had never heard of before called the Olin College of Engineering. And as I like to say, I kind of pulled on the thread to try to understand what was happening there and why we were involved there. I hope if you haven't heard of Olin, you will learn a little bit about it through this talk, and maybe you want to learn more. But in the 1990s, the F.W. Olin Foundation decided that they weren't getting the kind of impact that they wanted to get by investing their money in the higher education system here in our country. They built many buildings over the year, etc., and they decided to completely regroup and take the foundation's endowment and focus it on the creation of a completely new college for teaching engineering education. And they have literally thrown out the book and written a new one. There are no departments at Olin. There is no tenure. I didn't hear it enough of you fast. There is no graduate degree program. There are no departments. And there's a great book if you want to learn more about it called A Whole New Engineer, written by David Goldberg at the University of Illinois and Mark Somerville at Olin College of Engineering. And it really gives you some insight into what they're doing there. I can't take too much time right now, but what I'll tell you is the president of Olin, Dr. Richard Miller, I've heard Rick say many times that employers tell him that when his students show up to start a job after they get their degree, they come in with what the employers consider 3 to 5 years of real-world experience. And why is that? They start in freshman year on day one with real-world projects, with team-based learning, with experiential learning, and they truly are doing something very, very special at Olin. So we've invited two of their seniors here, Jamie Gorson and Nicole Rifkin, to speak to you a little bit about their experience at Olin, and I'm going to turn it over to them. Welcome.
Thank you all so much for inviting us to speak here today. We are so excited to be able to speak to this wonderful group of people. I'm going to start today with a story. So in 2001, the initial group of faculty at Olin College sat around a table with a big decision to make. The application and marketing groundwork for a fall 2001 opening of a college that didn't exist was already sent out. However, there were a few problems. The buildings were not finished yet, the curriculum was not ready, and so the college was not ready to open. So amidst this crisis and on the brink of failure, the most impactful innovation was decided. Olin will recruit 30 partners to work with the faculty to create the new Olin experience for future students. They had autonomy and control and were able to develop the program and the education. They were truly building their own college. This started a value of empowering students, which is a core value of Olin College and what truly has led to the success of the college and the university. So since the Olin Party Year, which is what it's called, Olin has continued to work towards innovation and reevaluation. Courses go under constant iteration and change, and students play a large role in deciding what courses are being offered. Students actually teach courses when they have skills that they want to share. As an academic institution, Olin takes risks to further engineering education. Throughout our experience at Olin, we have faced similarly challenging issues and problems and projects. Olin has provided us a safe space to take risks, iterate instead of fail, and set a course for our own learning. The ability to play, explore, and teach ourselves has given us the chance and is what sets my education apart and what will allow me and my fellow students to excel when it matters most.
My introductory software design course my first year was one of the best classes I've taken at Olin. A visiting professor was given the opportunity to take a big risk and to conduct a crazy experiment. To run a course with no lectures, no structure, guidelines instead of deadlines, and no grades. As you can imagine, due to the nature of this course, I didn't learn a lot of computer science theory that's critical to an introductory programming course. But as it turns out, what I did take away proved to be so much more valuable. I came away from that course with the ability to teach myself new things, feeling empowered to set my own goals and to direct my own learning. It was the first time that I was in the center of my own education, and it felt nothing short of amazing. Since then, I've been through a few more iterations of more traditional software engineering at Olin, and I've filled in the knowledge gaps that I failed to learn on the first try. The field of engineering is too broad and changes too quickly for me to learn everything there is to know, but I've learned that I'm not limited to only the things that I know. When I come across a challenge that I haven't been taught how to solve, the experience of teaching myself to program has enabled me to navigate those challenges. So whether I'm adjusting to a new job or internship, studying to learn a new language, or working on an engineering project that's never been attempted before, I'm able to jump in with 2 feet. Taking this course was probably the most transformative experience I've had during my time as an undergraduate.
In my first semester at Olin College, it felt academically liberating. We were given choice in our projects and also took classes that broke down the subject barriers. We worked in design studios, which were classrooms that were divided into workspaces for each team. These workspaces gave us autonomy over what we wanted to do in our space and also encouraged teamwork and discussions during class time. I worked on a project team where we built our own bill of materials, decided on our schedules, and had to present design reviews to peers and professors. The challenge was to make a biologically inspired toy for 4th graders. Our goal was to make a game inspired by an owl. Well, we had to iterate many times on this because flying is not an easy motion to mimic. We also had to worry about safety concerns and make sure the game was fun to play. So we tried many different attempts at manufacturing it, everything from a laser cut frame to a Nerf carved body. And because no project at Olin can end without a real-world connection, busloads of 4th graders came in at the end of the semester to test and evaluate our project. So throughout this experience, I am now able to look at my education in a different way. I drive my own studies, and also I was now ready to handle the projects to come and real-world challenges ahead.
We can't talk about the uniqueness of the Olin curriculum without touching on user-oriented collaborative design. This required class consists of a semester-long team project and challenged us to create an impactful product designed for a user group that made up a very small subsection of the population. This course fundamentally teaches empathy and gives context to why we do what we do. The first weekend of my sophomore year, I found myself feeling dwarfed, standing next to a 6-foot-something drag queen wearing 6-inch high heels. The following weeks were spent proposing ideas for new wigs, new types of concealer, and new shoes for drag queens, my team's chosen user group. My professor's favorite saying throughout that class, which you've heard echoed many times today, was fail early, fail often, and the class required an iterative design process. It was scaffolded such that we could not narrow down our project ideas until 2/3 of the way through the semester. If we hadn't taken those 2 months to propose many failing ideas and iterate on those, we would have moved forward with a safe but unimpactful fashion or clothing idea. Instead, we came up with something that we felt was much more transformative. We designed a fashion magazine that would serve as a platform for social change for drag queens. It included all spectrums of the gender identities, it included all representations of the gender identity spectrum and excluded all gendered pronouns, and was designed in contrast to mainstream media, which dictates who can experience what types of fashion based on their gender. This course fundamentally changed how I understand empathy, how I approach engineering design problems, and my personal goals for what I want to do with my engineering education.
My defining project happened my first semester sophomore year when I, along with a team of 4 other students, decided to build a robotic player guitar for our Principles of Engineering course. Our professor came up to us to warn us that this project was way more than the course required. In fact, this was more than the professor felt that we could handle in this time period. But we didn't care. We were so excited about the project that we went ahead with it. And I was in over my head. I stayed up late at night to read tutorials and ask for advice. But as a team, we bonded, pushing each other to work harder and to get a better understanding of the project, and to even get more excited about the project. And by the time demo day came around, we were exhausted, but as you can see, we succeeded. Well, sort of. The guitar played music like we had set out to do, but that was not good enough for us. While it could play a song, we wanted there to be a user interface, a more stable electrical system, and a better mechanical system. So the next semester, in our spare time, we decided to make a superior version of the guitar with the knowledge that we had learned through the first iteration. This was not for a course or for any type of credit, but for fun and self-fulfillment. And to make it fit into our schedule, we ran our own hackathons and stayed up late at night to make it work. We looked for expert advice on and off campus when we ran into problems that we didn't know how to finish, and we didn't know how to solve. And we gelled as a team because we had to drive ourselves to work harder, and also because we wanted to make this a permanent fixture on Olin's campus. This project, along with others at Olin, is why I call Olin the hardest fun that I've ever had.
Jamie and I are now in our senior year at Olin and participating in the Senior Capstone Program in Engineering, what we call SCOPE. Our SCOPE team is creating a fun and educational app for DS SolidWorks. This app will empower and enable kids ages 4 to 14 to tackle their own engineering design projects. There are many parts of this challenge that are daunting and completely foreign to us. Planning out a whole year's project, acting as consultants for a large company, and writing both completely modular and fully integrated software. But we like to say that we feel confidently uncomfortable. We have each worked on 20-something academic team projects, as well as held multiple internships in industry. We've faced enough challenges, experienced enough failures when we had a safety net below us, and turned enough of those failures into successes to feel confident in our abilities. Despite our discomfort, we feel that our education has given us the tools that we need to succeed and to take on this challenge. The Capstone program, or SCOPE, is the culmination of 4 years of real-world experience that we've gotten at Olin College, and thanks to that, when we graduate, we will be ready to take on anything.
Thank you so much for being a great audience, and if you have any questions, please come find us later. We'd be glad to talk to you.